factorial. And then lambda over mu to the power of n. So lambda is 1 over 30. Mu is 1 over 3. And to the power of n. Okay, so let's simplify this. Okay, so n is 0, so we have 3 factorial, 3 minus 0, and this simplifies to 1 over 10. Then n becomes 1, so 3 minus 1, 1 over 10 to the 1, and then n becomes 2. So usually people solve waiting line models in spreadsheets, and you can see why that's the case. Okay, and if you work it out, P0 will work out to be 0.732. These days it's pretty hard to, not talk about politics in this country. We have a federal election on April 28th, and then there's the non-stop, chaos. The U.S. usually, it's their country; they do whatever they want. But unfortunately, they affect us a lot. So it cannot be just like they do whatever they want. I tell my friends I'm just, thankful that I'm in a profession that's not affected by the tariffs. If you are in the car automatic manufacturer or oil gas industry, retail, you don't know if you're gonna have a job next week or not. Okay, so once we have P0, we will calculate LQ here. Okay, so n for us is 3. Lambda is 1 over 30. Mu is 1 over 3. Lambda is 1 over 30. And then 1 minus P0. So this gives us 0.052. In fact, a recession is actually good for the education industry because students can't find work and they just come back to school, do more schooling. So it's actually a boom for university and education industry in general. I think financial companies are pretty safe, accounting firms. Consulting is a little dicey because if companies are wondering how they're going to be profitable or not, they're going to curb spending on improvement projects like that consultants work on. Okay, finally, we use this LQ and P naught to calculate L. So basically, we now know there's 0.32 copiers in the repair center. I think working for a retailer is probably the hardest I think if you were working food retail, you'd be fine because people need to eat no matter what. But then people don't have to buy 5 pair of pants, right? They could get away buying 2, right? But you know, you need to eat. You need to eat. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna eat 2 apples this week instead of 5. Right? Okay. And so, therefore, we have 2.68 copiers working. I mean, I already kind of felt the effect of this tariff, and people kind of scared of losing their work over the March break. I was at Blue Mountain skiing. Normally, March break is a zoo. Okay. But this time, I was there on Tuesday. It was dead. I've never seen anything like it. So to me, it just means parents, people are worried. So they're not going to pay $100 a ticket to ski right now. Okay, B. Find the average downtime for a copier that needs repair. Okay, so average downtime, that's just W, right? Time spent in the system. Basically, while the copier is in the repair center, it's not working, right? You can't use it, so that's downtime. So average downtime is just another word for expected time spent in the repair center. So we have LQ and L here. So what can we do? Maybe we will use this formula here. LQ and L to get WQ. And once we have WQ, we'll use this one here to get our W. Okay, so we'll use this here. Okay, so put in our numbers. I've been always voted for the New Democratic Party, or so-called NDP government, federal. However, I'm pondering now. A few months ago, I was talking with my cousin, and we were talking about who we were going to vote for and this and that, and I told him that I've been always an NDP supporter, and he says, why? I said, well, I really like the leader, Jasmeet Singh, and he says, oh no, that guy's a phony. It's like, what do you mean? Well, he's represented the New Democratic Party, which is basically the party platform, or their thinking is that they're out there to help the poor people, right? That's their whole premises for existing. We fight for hard workers, we help poor people and blah blah. And then my cousin says, do you know what kind of car he drives? Apparently it's Maserati or something, so it's probably more expensive than a Ferrari maybe, or whatever. So that's why my cousin says, no, he's a fake. How can you one side say, I'm here supporting poor people, and then I drive this crazy expensive car? The thing don't match, right? Okay, now we're going to use W here. Okay, mu is just 1 over 3, so 3.825 days. So basically, when your copier breaks down, expect not to be able to use it for about 3.852 days. Okay, expect not to be able to use it for about 3.582 days. Okay, finally, part C. Find the probability that a repair technician will be available when a copier breaks down. So imagine our department copier breaks down, we call our Xerox. What's the probability they will send somebody right away? Well, basically, the tech is available if there's no copier in the system, in the repair center, right? The tech will be available if there's no copier in the repair center, so they will be able to come right away. And we already know from part 8 that it's just 0.732. There are many, many more waiting line models, and but we cover some of the more common ones. The basic MM1 model, right? And then multiple workers, servers. We look at what if the service time is not exponential, so we look at some general distribution, constant. We look at the case where there's no lines, and then we look at the case where you can have limited number of people in the system or store. Even if you're a call center, the lineup cannot be infinite, right? You only have so many lines you buy from Bell, and once those lines are used up with customers kind of put on hold, then the next person to call is going to get a busy signal, right? And then a finite population is good, mainly used for modeling repair centers, such as this problem here. Okay, so now let's talk about your final exam information here. Not really exciting, to be honest. Okay, so the exam is very late, April 24, and it's 2.5 hours. I find 2 hours is just too short, but 3 hours kind of really just going on and on. So over the years, I fine-tuned it to be about 2.5 hours, seems to work well. Many formulas this time. So you can bring a one double-sided 8.5 by 11, so the standard sheet. It can be typed or handwritten or combination. There's no restrictions on what you can put on the A sheet. And so a student asked me the other class, can I put some of the practice problems on there? Sure, you can do that. All problem solving, no definitions, no multiple choice. Just like the midterm, except more questions because we have more time. I'm going to give you the table 11.4 for looking up P0 and the random index values. If I give you an AHP problem, you don't have to put that on your table or A sheet. You can use any calculator you like. There are 9 questions, total of 1111 marks. You're only responsible for material after the midterm test. So includes integer programming, Go programming, scoring models in the AHP, decision-making strategies, decision trees, sensitive analysis on probabilities, payoff values, waiting line models. So in terms of office hours, I am going to have both in person and online. In person will be in my office, and online will be using my virtual office MS Team link in the announcements. So I'm going to have a in-person office hours on April 15th. And so that would be an opportunity for people who kind of miss some lecture notes. They need to take some pictures or whatever happening around. But the real, I think, office hours is the April 22 and April 23, and both will be online 4 to 5 p.m. Right? So that's the game plan there. I think that's it. So I'll post this after Wednesday's class, and then you'll be able to have it. Okay, any question on the exam, A sheet, anything? Yes?
Can we expect to see a hard question similar to question 6?
No hard. I mean, when you look at integer programming, Go programming, they're already hard to begin with. There's like, even a straightforward is kind of hard. This isn't like, doesn't really need to get tricky with. Okay, yes?
Would there still be office hours this Thursday?
Yes, this was my final week of office hours. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll update the attendance sheet after Wednesday's class as well. Okay, all right, good luck on your test, or exam, I should say.